exhibition, which is called Planète Parr, is about my collections. I'm a collector, an editor, and a photographer. And here it gives me a chance to show all the things that I'm interested in. So for many, many years now I've been collecting photographic books. So we have vitrines full of those. We have postcards, which I love very much. We have posters. We have ephemera, objects. I collect these with the same passion that I collect my own images as a photographer. And then finally upstairs we have some rooms of some of my new work. We're currently in this room full of these pictures taken last year in the UK for the Guardian newspaper. And then next door we have a project called Luxury, which looks at people and money throughout the world over the last 5 years. And this is, if you like, is a presentation of my interpretation of people going dressed up very well, very fancy, horse racing, art events, fashion shows, where people basically dress up and show their wealth. And in a sense now we look at this work and it's an epitaph to a period that's just finished of excessive growth and showing off and ostentatious looks, and it's an opportunity to look back at that period of our lives. So the whole thing really is about my collecting gene, because I regard my own photography as being a form of collecting too, where I go out and try and make sense of the world by making it into projects, into books, into exhibitions. And this very much couples in with my own interest in collecting books, prints. And the biggest collection of all here are the prints from photographers that I admire and I like, in particular British photographers, documentary ones from, say, the 60s onwards. And I've built up a substantial collection of British documentary images. And also international prints, where I've shown not only the photographers that have influenced me as a younger photographer when I was starting out in my 20s and 30s, but I've also had a chance to show the images I've collected of more recent discoveries in photography, like contemporary Japanese and contemporary Dutch photography. So these all come together under the single umbrella of Planète Parr. In Britain we are more aware of the classes, so I myself am very middle class, and of course I bring to this work as a photographer, my middle class sensibilities. I also bring my English qualities. We believe in understatement, we believe in irony, and I believe in expressing ambiguity through photography. I can show that fundamental ambiguity in one photograph. You can provide in photography both sides of the argument. So that, in a sense, is what I'm trying to do. I'm very interested in vulnerability because that same vulnerability that, say, a comedian might make us laugh about ourselves is the same vulnerability that I'm interested in exploiting and trying to demonstrate in my own photography. When I started as a photographer, I think my work was more of a celebration. I worked in black and white earlier on, and it was like a celebration, if you like, of traditional aspects of life in the UK. When I changed to colour in the mid-80s, it became more of a critique. So it gave me the chance, if you like, to express the ambiguity I felt about the modern world in which we live, to show this, to try and demonstrate it, to explore it, almost therapeutically through my own photography. And it's this latter attitude and approach which you'll see the evidence of here. The luxury photographs, it's almost like a critique. Traditionally, photographers photograph poverty as sort of a matter of human concern, so I'm photographing wealth as a matter of human concern, because we were in danger of exploding on this planet by creating too much wealth. And when China and India and all the other emerging economies expect and demand the same middle-class lifestyle that we have here in France, then we have severe problems on the world's resources. So part of what I'm doing here has a little bit of politics in it, but this is not particularly spelt out in the exhibition or in the prints. It's there if people want to interpret it in that way. I keep my manifesto and my agenda quite wide open, but ultimately that's one of the things I'm aiming at. More recently, the work I've done has addressed global issues. I think luxury is a good example of that, whereby I've taken one idea and it found different countries where this is going on, from South Africa to France, to England, America, Dubai, the Middle East. And I've looked for the whole idea of wealth and how it shows itself in different countries, because it's a homogenized world we live in, and wealth was a globalized idea. So it's important to me to try and show the different territories where it was going on. I'm accused as a photographer of being many things, cynical, exploitative, but in the end, controversial. I can never understand why it's controversial to go to a supermarket and it's not controversial to go to a war. But in the end, I don't mind anymore about the criticism that I attract, because I have a very clear agenda, I have a clear idea about what I can do, and I'm very privileged insofar I have a platform like this wonderful space here in the Jeu de Paume to show the work. So I'm quite happy in that sense. I'm a great believer in photography books. I've not only published my own books, but I've made a collection of photography books from other photographers, and published, along with my friend Jerry Badger, a history of the photography book, which was meant to be, if you like, a revisionist history, trying to look at the history of photography from the photographer's viewpoint as opposed to the theorist's viewpoint or the curator's viewpoint. So it's like the history from the ground looking up. And I know that photography books are very influential on other photographers, so it's been a great opportunity to collect these. And in terms of my collecting ideas and knowing which to collect, the first people I ask are the photographers, not only from this country, but from Europe, but from other places like, say, South America or Australia or Japan, where the books are less predictable. Japan is a very strong photographic culture, and the Japanese, and Tokyo is the biggest photographic book buying place in the whole world. So yes, it's a place, as a photographic book lover, like myself, you have to take very seriously. And the Japanese really reinvented the photography book after the war in a very interesting way. They weren't able to have exhibitions, so they made and produced photographic books of very high quality. Photography is constantly changing, and the internet, of course, is more important, and digital photography is slowly taking over. It has bonuses such as the photo sharing sites and the fact that you can get your images onto the net and distribute them very fast. But it's interesting that still the book survives very well in our digital age, because a book is very analog, it's very physical, and people love the idea of opening the book, reading the narration, seeing a body of work unfold in front of you. So despite the internet, the book and the exhibition are still in rude health. I'm continuing to take photographs in the UK. I'm working towards that. And I'm also curating a big photography festival next year in Britain, in Brighton, the Brighton Photographic Biennale. And for this, I'm now looking for emerging new talent, particularly, I guess, within the realm of documentary, to show that this genre of photography, of which I'm part, is still alive and well and very much up to date with how we understand and depict the world through personal visions And this to me is very important, that you have individual voices in our globalized times that can make and show us things about the world which we wouldn't have seen otherwise.